The Premier Show Jumping League, also known as the Premier Jumping League, or PJL, is a new $300 million global show jumping league that could completely transform the future of equestrian sport. But what exactly is it? How does it work? And why is it suddenly becoming one of the most talked about developments in show jumping? To understand why the Premier Jumping League matters, we first need to look at how the sport has traditionally operated. For decades, elite show jumping has followed a familiar and deeply rooted structure. Riders travel from one prestigious venue to another, competing in Grand Prix classes, building rankings, and representing owners, sponsors, and sometimes their countries. It is a system built on history, tradition, and individual achievement. But in 2026, that structure was challenged in a way the sport has never seen before. The announcement of the Premier Jumping League did not feel like a small evolution. It felt like a complete reset. Backed by billionaire investor Frank McCourt, the PJL was introduced with a bold vision to turn show jumping into a fully professional, globally recognized sports league, comparable in structure and visibility to major international competitions like Formula One or top tier football leagues. And the number that immediately captured everyone's attention was impossible to ignore: a $300 million guaranteed prize pool, not projected, not dependent on sponsorship growth, guaranteed, with approximately $100 million allocated to the first season alone. The Premier Jumping League instantly positioned itself as the most financially powerful league the sport has ever seen. That level of investment does not just raise the stakes, it fundamentally changes the expectations. At its core, the Premier Show Jumping League is built around a team-based format, something that has never fully taken hold in traditional show jumping. The league plans to feature 16 professional teams competing across 14 events in major locations, spanning Europe, North America, and the Middle East. Instead of riders simply entering competitions independently, they will be selected from a pool of around 250 of the world's top athletes. This creates a system that feels much closer to a draft or franchise model than a traditional horse show entry list. Riders are no longer just individuals competing for personal results. They become part of a structured team where strategy, consistency, and collective performance all play a role. This shift alone represents a major philosophical change in how the sport is organized. But the transformation does not stop at the competition format. The Premier Jumping League is also being designed as a modern media product, with plans for free global broadcasting, high-level production partnerships, and a strong emphasis on storytelling and fan engagement. The PJL is clearly aiming to reach audiences far beyond the traditional equestrian community. The goal is not just to showcase great riding, it is to create a sport that people can follow, understand, and emotionally invest in, even if they have never set foot at a horse show. In many ways, it is an attempt to make show jumping more accessible, more visible, and more relevant in a crowded global sports landscape. However, one of the most important claims behind the Premier Jumping League goes beyond money and media. Supporters of the league argue that this new structure could actually improve conditions for both riders and horses. With significantly higher earnings concentrated into fewer events, riders may no longer need to compete as frequently to maintain financial stability. This could allow for more thoughtful scheduling, better training routines, and crucially, more recovery time for the horses. In a sport that is increasingly under scrutiny for welfare concerns, that promise carries real weight. At the same time, not everyone is convinced. The arrival of the PJL represents a direct challenge to existing circuits like the Global Champions Tour and the Global Champions League, which have already pushed the sport toward a more commercial and global model. Now, with even more money and even more structured league format entering the space, questions are beginning to surface. Is this the natural evolution of show jumping into a modern professional sport? Or does it risk pulling the discipline further away from its traditional roots? As with any major shift, the answer is not simple. What is clear, however, is that the Premier Show Jumping League is not just another addition to the calendar, it is a turning point. It represents a new vision for what show jumping could become: more global, more structured, and more financially driven than ever before. Whether that vision ultimately strengthens the sport or reshapes it in a way that are harder to predict will depend on how it unfolds in the years ahead. For now, one thing is certain: the conversation around the Premier Jumping League is only just the beginning.